right. Call the meeting to order, call the roll.
Trustee Healy?
Here.
Trustee Katsinas?
Here.
Trustee Malani?
Here.
Trustee Compass?
Here.
Trustee Reardon?
Here.
Trustee Rashevsky?
Here.
Mayor Pico?
Here.
Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the December 2nd, 2024 regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Katsinas.
I move to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustee meeting of December 2, 2024.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Malani? Aye. Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Trustee Rashevsky? Aye. Mayor Pico?
Aye. I guess now.
2024 Veterans Golf Outing Check Presentation. Do you have a different name?
So tonight, it's my honor to help give a check from the Veterans Commission to Century School students Liam Beastie, right? And Yvonne, and I'm going to mess this up, Rabiniuk? No. How do I say it? Rabinuk. Okay, and Yvonne Rabinuk for Honor Flight Chicago. So essentially, these young men, led by Liam and supported by Yvonne, or Ivan, right? Ivan or Yvonne? So your first name, you don't have a choice. Okay. So anyways, they've embarked on trying to raise $3,600 for Honor Flight Chicago, which essentially would cover the cost for 3 veterans to do Honor Flight. So, they brought that to me and met with me and spoke about it. And and also Dan from our Veterans Commission. And essentially the Veterans Commission decided to give a $2,000 check to kick off get you well on your way to the $3,600. So we're going to come down and present that check. Do you have anything you want to tell her on TV? Not sure. You had something to say the other day, so here we go.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, we'd like to hear how this all came about. I'd like to hear from them about, how you thought of this. Where did it, where did you come up with this? This is fantastic.
So I came up with this project because my grandfather is a veteran who served in occupied Japan, but is unfortunately unable to go on a trip of this magnitude at this point of his life. I think Honor Flight Chicago is a great cause, and it does really great things. And yeah.
That's great. Anybody else have questions for that?
So my original goal was 3,600, as you said. I passed that a few weeks ago and decided to raise my goal to 6,000. And I reached that about 1 week ago, I think.
I need some help.
So right now I'm at 9,800.
Whoa!
For 8.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Well, I think we're going to help you with a little bit more because we have a check here for 2,000.
Thank you.
So we're going to take a picture. surprise for you. The trustees, there's actually, I think 6 in here, so the trustees and I came together, and there's another $900 in checks from us.
Wow. Thank you.
God bless America.
All right, well, thank you very much. Thank you for all that you've done, and now you gotta do so now they've raised enough money to send, instead of just 3, to send 10 people. Pretty soon, you're gonna fill up an entire Southwest flight.
That is incredibly impressive. You should be very proud, parents and both of you guys. That's just great.
Does the board have anything else they'd like to add?
No, thank you for your consideration. Thank you for your thoughtfulness.
Yes, thank you for your public service. Mom and Dad, you're raising excellent kids. Hats off.
Truly amazing just to put others ahead of yourself. You give me great hope for our next generation.
This is only the beginning. I hope your parents have got their seatbelts fastened. It's going to be more to come, I think, in this life.
Yeah, bigger kids, more fun.
That's right.
Anything else? Thank you guys very much. Thank you for what you've done, and we appreciate it. We're glad we could help. The Veterans Commission is glad they could help, and job very, very well done. So.
Non-scheduled citizens and visitors for agenda-specific public comment.
Mary Weimer, so just, you got 3 minutes. It's not a debate, so the board doesn't engage anyone who speaks. No yelling, clapping, screaming, all of the stuff, some of the stuff we've seen here before. So none of that, but we're here to get your input. So you've got 3 minutes, and if you can come to the mic, that would be great.
Hi, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. I'd like to talk just briefly about last meeting you had on December 2nd, when you spoke about the levies for both the library and the village. You did a comparison of these 2 institutions. When I watched online, I heard your comments regarding the amounts for both levies, and I was expecting to hear a little bit more clarification on the percentages that these levies are in each one of these institutions' budgets. But that didn't happen, and you compared apples to oranges. The library's revenue is 95% levy property tax money. It gets grants from the state, very small, the per capita grant, and it gets few fines, but the library eliminated fines 5 years or 4 years ago. And they're very limited on what they can get for their revenue sources. The village's levy, which was compared to where you had the 7 million of the library and 10 million for the village's levy is 17% of your total budget, which means that you have other sources to run your budget. You have income tax, you have licenses and permits, you have transfer of funds, but your really biggest one is sales tax, which is not available to the library as a revenue source. And I think that by comparing as such, that you did a disservice to the library and that you made them sound like they were doing disreputable things, charging the residents more money for their services. I formerly worked there, some of you may know, and the library was once called the jewel of the community. It is a large public library, and it serves every population. It is a welcoming place, it's a safe place, and it's for everyone. And I think that it's very difficult for me to understand why the village doesn't appreciate the Orland Park Public Library as part of its community. But I just wanted to let you know that I wanted to clarify to the people of the percentages of budgets shouldn't be compared as such. I thank you for the opportunity to let me talk. Happy holidays, and I want to say to Trustee Healy, I'm very sorry I missed Bill's presentation at the library. I hear from so many sources he did an excellent job, and you should be so proud. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your comments. Is there anybody else here to speak who didn't sign in?
Accounts payable December 3rd, 2024 through December 16th, 2024, approval.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
I move to approve the accounts payable December 3rd, 2024 through December 16th, 2024 in the amount of $5,399,438.33.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Trustee Rashevsky?
Aye.
Mayor Pika?
Aye.
Consent agenda.
Item A, payroll for December 6, 2024, approval. Item B, S&F Partners, 14340 108th Avenue, rezoning. Item C, FLC lower level floor replacement project. Item D, 2025 Orland Hills East and West Road and Ditch Reconstruction. Item bid award. Item E, Store Nozzle Conversion Program material purchase. Item F, Consulting Engineering Services for Sanitary Sewer Evaluation Program 2025 through 2027. Item G, 2025 Orland Hills Road and Ditch Reconstruction. Construction Management Contract Change Order. Item H, FLC Gym and Track Floor Replacement Project. Item I, Stellwagen Old Mill and Police Station Natural Area Stewardship Service Agreement. Item J, 2025 First Aid Cabinet Supplies Omnia Purchasing Cooperative. Item K, Landscape Management and Maintenance Contract Addendum. Item L, Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition, SCADA Support Services Contract. Item M, Traffic Signal Maintenance for Village, State, County Roadways Renewal. Item N, 151st Resurfacing 94th Avenue to Harlem Avenue, Phase 2 Design Engineering. Item O, 2025 Building Automation System Services. Item P, Police Department Gym Flooring Replacement Project. Item Q, St. Michael School Advisory Board 5K Fundraiser. Item R, Pollution Insurance Renewal. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through R.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Compass.
I move to approve items A through C and E through R.
Second.
Call the roll for items A through C and E through R.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Trustee Rashevsky?
Aye.
Mayor Pika?
Aye. I think that just took us all the way through the first quarter. That consent agenda.
2025 Orland Hills East and West Road and Ditch Reconstruction Bid Award.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani.
move to approve and authorize the execution of a contractor agreement between the Village of Orland Park and Lindahl Brothers Incorporated of Bensenville, Illinois, at the lowest cost, qualified and responsive proposal for RFP 24-063-2025, Orland Hills East and West Road and Ditch Reconstruction in an amount not to exceed $5,025,774.73, and authorize the village manager to execute all related contracts, subject to village attorney review.
Second.
Any comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Compass?
I abstain due to a family relationship with the non-awarded bidder.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Trustee Rashevsky?
Aye.
Mayor Pika?
Aye.
A&E Services Police Department Firing Range EOC Commissioning Agent.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Reardon.
I move to approve and authorize the execution of a service agreement between the Village of Orland Park and Farnsworth Group as the lowest cost qualified responsive proposal for A&E Services Police Department Firing Range EOC Commissioning Agent for a cost of $29,535 plus 10% contingency of $2,953.50 for a not to exceed cost of amount not to exceed $32,488.50, and authorize the village manager to execute all related contracts subject to village attorney review. And allow the village manager to approve change orders not to exceed the contingency amount.
Second.
Any comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Rashevsky.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
2025 Facility Electrical Maintenance Support.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Katsinas.
I move to approve the waiver of the competitive bid process in lieu of participation, participation in the joint purchasing cooperative Omnia pursuant to the contract number 02/139 and authorize the approval and execution of a vendor contract with Davecom Electric, Inc. for the facility electrical maintenance support in 2025 based on Davecom Electric, Inc. proposal number 24/167/15 dated November 11th, 2024 for a cost of $77,640 plus a 10% contingency of $7,764 for a total not to exceed contract price of $85,404 and authorize the village manager to execute all related contracts subject to village attorney review and to authorize the village manager to approve change orders not to exceed the contingency amount.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Rashevsky.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
An ordinance annexing property 15824 and 15826 South 77th Avenue and 7706 West 159th Street, surrounded unincorporated territory.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Reardon.
I move to adopt an ordinance entitled an ordinance annexing property 15824 and 15826 South 77th Avenue and 7706 West 159th Street, surrounded unincorporated territory, and allow the village manager to enter into a memorandum of understanding within 90 days of the passage of this ordinance, subject to the village attorney review.
Second.
And can you show us these?
So this one is just north of 159th Street. It's an interesting one because the street that the three properties are located on are actually in the village and maintained by the village. And this meets two of the higher priority goals. One is anything that has commercial potential for development or redevelopment, and also potential annexation by a surrounding town.
Yeah, I mean, this is again, an isolated piece that's surrounded by Orland Park that we pretty much service with everything, including the road. I'm sure we plow that road too.
Yes.
Yeah, so we service everything, and it's also unfair to the residents to be covering all those costs, but also that could be grabbed by someone else and commercialized like that. And we kind of see what's happened in the past when, for whatever reason, we were asleep at the switch and we had, a big apartment complex that's put on 167th Street. We had, crossed 179th, or crossed LaGrange Road at 179th Street, the whole big section there that's actually, it just doesn't make sense. So cleaning up our border makes a lot of sense there. Any comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Rashevsky.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
An ordinance annexing property Humphrey Drive Wetlands 9301 West 143rd Street.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Compass.
I move to adopt an ordinance entitled an ordinance annexing property 9301 West 143rd Street annexation surrounded unincorporated territory.
Second.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
why was this property never annexed?
Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, this has
Mr. Healy,
been
we
our
have no
property for a
idea.
long time. It's village's property. It's village's open lands. Well, I'm assuming, was it acquired by open lands?
I believe so. I think it even says so on the sign.
Yeah, it was acquired by open lands funds and they never annexed it. It makes absolutely zero sense
This was
whatsoever.
discovered when we were doing some map audits, making sure our boundaries meshed up and seeing if there was anything that was left out. And we discovered that this piece never actually was formally annexed, despite the fact that it was purchased with open lands and then
All
transferred
right.
to the village.
No. We'll fix it. Call the roll.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Rashevsky.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
Familiar refrain, we'll fix it.
Schussler Park All-Inclusive Playground Cooperative Equipment Purchase.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Reardon.
I gladly move to approve the entering into an agreement with Play Illinois LLC for the purchase of playground equipment in the amount of $306,243.95 as quoted in Sourcewell contract number 010521-BUR for the Schussler Park All-Inclusive Playground Equipment, and to include 10% contingency of $30,624.40 for unforeseen circumstances for a total not to exceed $336,868.35, and to authorize the village manager to execute all related contracts subject to village attorney review.
Second.
Are there any comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Compass.
I imagine you're already reading my mind, but we already heard the announcement once, but I think it's worth hearing again. Ray, do you mind giving us that announcement one more time?
So we applied earlier this summer for a $600,000 grant through ASLAD. It's an open space lands acquisition grant through the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. So just before the board meeting, we received word that we were awarded that $600,000 grant. So really great timing.
Great work. Also, I know we're trying to raise money for the park. So I think Liam and Ivan have shown that they can raise money. So they may be the ones to reach out to help raise money for that park.
Quite a network already, yeah.
Exactly. Any other comments? Looking forward for this park getting done next year. It'll be fantastic. So it's already great, but it'll be even better. Call the roll.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Rashevsky.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
We're going to do this first.
Okay. 0898.
Yeah, we're going to do 2024-0898 first before the other four.
Let me get it out here.
Makes sense to discuss the budget before we discuss the levy. Sorry, I should have told you.
It's
sooner.
okay. All my staples are getting stuck together. So, an ordinance adopting the annual budget for the fiscal year commencing on January 1st, 2025 and ending on December 31st, 2025 for the Village of Orland Park, Cook and Will counties.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
I move to adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance adopting the annual budget for the fiscal year commencing on January 1st, 2025 and ending on December 31st, 2025 for the Village of Orland Park, Cook and Will counties, Illinois.
Second.
Any comments? Can you go ahead and show us the presentation?
Thank you, Mayor and Trustees. Good evening. I want to thank you for this opportunity to give a brief presentation on the 2025 proposed budget. First, I'd like to thank staff for their hard work in order to get us to this point today for the proposed budget. First, I'd like to say that this budget is balanced and it continues the village's commitment to public safety, public investment in our infrastructure, and of course follows the policy, the financial policies established by the village board. So next, what I'd like to do is ask for Finance Director Chris Frankenfield to discuss the proposed budget in greater detail.
Thank you. Good evening. I'll try to make it brief so we don't put the kids to sleep here. So we have the useless fund balance. The village retains fund balance to help manage cash flows throughout the year due to collection of some revenues such as property taxes being inconsistent throughout the year. Fund balance also helps weather shortfalls in revenue if the need arises. The village's fund balance policy requires 20% in the general fund, and this year's budget maintains a 56.2% fund balance. The village staff have made efforts to cut operational spending to avoid use of fund balance as much as possible. In order to focus in on operational spending, we reallocated some capital outlay, which has been included in the general fund. For 2025, we reallocated that over to the capital fund. While having so many capital projects being rolled over into 2025, you can observe a large increase of transfers between funds. We are planning to use fund balance within the home rule sales tax fund to fund operating capital projects with anticipation of possibly being able to reduce the scheduled amount of bond issuances. So might be that possibility.
And Chris?
Yes.
Just for people who are watching at home, the revised budget, of the bulk of that is due to capital projects that were rolled over from previous years that then were actually hit the books in 2024. So that's why you see a difference from the projected versus the revised.
Correct.
So.
Yes. In our original financial plan back in 2023, it was planning on having issuances throughout 24. So yeah, that's just been a little bit delay.
Okay.
So we are predicting budget, we're in the revenues. We are predicting budgeted general revenues by a conservative 2.7 overall of last year's budget. Recreation, we're predicting a 6.4% increase. Based on our 23 financial plan, we plan to issue bonds during 2024, as I just mentioned. We postponed our debt issuance and are planning for the spring of 2025. The bond proceeds you see before you include $28.4 million as planned for the 2024 and $12.3 million as originally planned for 2025. Based on the original capital plan approved by the board in 2023, some projects are being rolled over to 2025. Some projects include, on the left side, you'll see Schussler Park, the police department training facility, and the rest up there. New projects planned to begin in 2025 are listed on the right side, which includes $6 million to the neighborhood road improvement plan. A couple projects such as Dugan Park construction and 143rd and John Humphrey Drive intersection have been pushed up sooner in the schedule due to grants being available sooner than originally anticipated.
And I think that's important to note, too, that some of these things are getting rolled forward a little earlier than we planned because, like the grant, we got $600,000. Schussler wasn't supposed to be till next year, but it got moved forward. Dugan Park wasn't supposed to be till the following year, but it got moved forward because we got a $600,000 grant for that, too. So we end up moving these things forward from the 5-year. It was in the 5-year plan. It's just getting front-loaded a little bit more because of the money we've been able to find. And Krashid, the 6 years prior to 2017, I think we got, $3.6 million in grants? Yeah. And since 2017, we've gotten, over 45 million in grants?
Yes, Mayor. That's correct.
So great job of you guys finding money from outside sources to allow us to do a lot of these capital programs.
Thank you.
And next slide is about the property tax. As proposed, the village property tax levy will decrease for 2024. We'll collect next year in 2025, decreased by $125,815 from the total levy from last year, with the intention of hopefully keeping this at this level going forward. The Orland Park Public Library has raised their levy by $289,000, which equates to 4.2%.
So at this point, you can see where we're at in the process. We've had numerous public hearings and discussions related to the budget. We've taken steps to demonstrate exceptional, clarity in terms of what's being proposed, including the truth and taxation process, which we did not have to do, but we did anyways, so it provides the transparency that we all expect of this organization. So tonight, what we have before you is 2 items. The first is approval of the budget as well as the levy. And we are happy to answer any questions you may have.
Mr. Mayor?
Trustee Healy.
I have one question. Chris, how do you do it? You got all these audits coming at you for you, all the budget. This is your first time through this thing, and you've still managed to get this out on time. And I appreciate that. I think you and your team have done a great job. There's some new employees, you've lost some old employees, but you've still managed to keep it together. So I want to just say thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate that recognition.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Reardon.
Yeah, I actually have a question just in the same vein is, I think it's reasonable and balanced. I heard those words, and I think that's what we're trying to do here with the board. We have capital projects, we have buildings that we need to service, we have a police department that we need to fully fund to make sure that we're all safe. But I think what gets lost in the shuffle is we have a lot of good people that work for the town of Orland Park, for the village. And to get good people and to keep good people, you have to pay them. And so there's a lot of things that, go into this that do the work like your whole department did to put this all together. But we want to have those good people here. And so when people look at this budget and they see where we're spending our money, they need to recognize that we have a lot of good people that work for the town, and that's, that's something we want to keep. That's something I'm okay spending, the taxpayers' dollars on keeping good people here to make sure all the various aspects of the city are moving forward like they have been for many years now. Thanks.
And just so people understand, to Trustee Reardon's point, is on the general fund, the expenditures for the general fund, 70% of that is wages and benefits. And that doesn't even include pension. So if you throw pension in the mix, now you're talking 80%. What our pensions cover. So it's a pretty significant amount are our people. And then we have some significant capital stuff, which we've talked about. We've invested a lot in capital because it was underinvested in for 20 years. And so we've done a lot of that. So I think that's important to note. Also, you'll note that revenue is exceeding expenditures in our general fund by about $900,000, but you'll see when you transfer out, it's actually about $1 million short. That's because we're transferring money out for capital projects. But even with that, we have, we essentially have a significant amount of money in our reserves, and that's something we can look at as well, as if we want to transfer more out of the reserves as the year goes on to fund some of those projects.
Mr. Chairman.
Trustee Compass.
So just in light of comments made today, Jim or someone, could you just give us a little bit more detail on why we discuss the village library tax levy here?
Sure. So part of the approval process of the levy requires adoption of not only the village portion, but also the library's portion. So the library board took action to recommend what their levy should be for the coming year. So we take that recommendation and we program that and put it into our levy as a total, which is required by law.
And ultimately, when we're casting a vote on the levy, that includes the combined levy. So we are taking also accountability by casting our vote on that. Is that correct?
Yes, it's a part of the total levy that's being approved here tonight.
Okay, so it's not random that we talk about the library, and it's within our right to talk about and question and ask questions as to why changes like this occur. It was about 2 years ago that we saw that the library had received a windfall from a loan. It was conditions that were put on them by the county that they had to essentially overtax for the loan. They got more than 2 years of worth of the last two increases in that windfall. And at the time, I had made comments that I had hoped that they would apply that to revenue deferment and not raise the tax levy accordingly. They've since apparently spent that money. So, that's why we raise the questions that we do.
And I think it's important to note that, when we pass an overall levy and the overall levy is going up, but our levy is going down, I think it's important that we as a board let people know, and we didn't do anything except give people the facts. The library's board went up 4.25% this year, 4.5% last year. Ours went down 3% or so last year, and it's down 1% this year. That's just a fact. It's not casting dispersion on anyone. It's just that's the way it is. And given that our levies are levied as a combined entity, because the library, it's just the way government works here in Illinois. The library cannot levy their own tax. We have to levy it for them. So that's why it was discussed.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, on the library point, I appreciate the woman's comments and that's their source of revenue, but what we're seeing is no effort to be more efficient. I mean, it's $7.5 million to run one building, and they're asking for the maximum pretty much every time. I think the 3 years that I've done this now, 4 years, they've asked for basically the maximum they can in the levy.
Well, they can actually ask for anything because they're like us. They can basically levy under us, but the maximum of what other entities would be allowed.
Right, 4.2 to 4. I mean, every year without showing us. And again, it's a beautiful building. I've been there. I'm not trying to disparage their programming or what the building is, but $7.5 million every year, and then to increase it without kind of an understanding of why, for one building, those were our questions. That's our due diligence we have to do, so.
Yeah, and I think when you bring up things like you've waived fines, but then you've increased property tax, that means people are paying property taxes who are turning their books in on time, and people who aren't turning their books in on time, we're all carrying that. So, I mean, that's a decision for their board to make, but that is a decision they've made that it requires property taxes to be increased. So, again, all we did was give the facts the last time, so. Any other comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Trustee?
I just want to make a statement that Mary Weimer is a friend of mine, and I do appreciate the fact that she came here tonight and addressed the questions, not hiding behind mysterious web postings or whatever, but she came here, made her case. And I, for one, will maybe go back and rethink, but I agree with Sean. That incident a couple of years ago really gets to me, and but again, I'm just happy that she came here and made her case. It's the board that enacts these tax increases, not the people at the library.
You can handle that question tonight when you get home.
If I can get in.
Any other comments? So, I'm just looking at this, and I'm looking at our revenue, I'm looking at our balance, and I know it's not a lot, but what's our current levy reduction, 125?
Yes, correct.
I would consider lowering that levy another 125. I mean, it's not a lot, but we have promised, and we lowered it 3% last year. That would lower it almost 2% this year. We do have the room to do that, given the fact that we have fund balances that are so high. And I recognize also, I think this board recognizes that our capital plan, our 5-year capital plan, which we're about halfway in, we've got to probably reevaluate early this year, because we do have some things being thrown at us. Another 2.7 million that the state made a decision on that comes out of our pocket. So you throw that in with LGDF, we're getting shorted about 10 million a year from the state, which is pretty significant. But the 7.5 or whatever, we already kind of, we've been dealing with that. The 2.7 is new, and that's a big deal. On an operating budget that's 60,000, it's almost 5% of our budget. So it's a big deal we're going to have to figure out how to deal with. But still, this year, I think we could probably afford to bring that down 125 and bring it, lower the levy 250,000 if. And that would happen at the next, one of the, a few items down, but if the board is so inclined, we could do that. Otherwise, if no one else has any comments on the budget, I will entertain. Any other comments? No, call the roll.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Trustee Rashevsky?
Aye.
Mayor Peacock?
Aye.
Want me to call the rest in order?
Yep.
An ordinance providing the levying, assessment, and collection of taxes for the current fiscal year of the Village of Orland Park, Cook and Will Counties, Illinois.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Compass.
I move to adopt an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Providing for the Levying, Assessment, and Collection of Taxes for the Current Fiscal Year of the Village of Orland Park, Cook and Will Counties, Illinois, which includes a village levy in the total amount of $13,300,000 and a library levy in the amount of $7,082,000 for a total of $20,382,000."
Could you correct those amounts to 13,175,000 and a total of 257,000? I think that's right.
Could you repeat that one more time?
13,175,000, and the last number would be 20,257,000. If we're going to lower it 125,000 more.
Move to amend the motion to adopt an ordinance.
Just reread the motion since it wasn't seconded.
No. I move to adopt an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Providing for the Levying, Assessment, and Collection of Taxes for the Current Fiscal Year of the Village of Orland Park, Cook and Will Counties, Illinois, which includes a village levy in the total amount of $13,175,000 and a library levy in the amount of $7,082,000 for a total of $20,257,000.
Second.
And if no, does anybody have any comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Auditing Preparation Services, audit years 2023 and 2024.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Reardon.
move to approve the waiver of the competitive bid process and authorize the approval and execution of a professional services contract between the Village of Orland Park and Middle America Government Consulting, Inc. for auditing preparation services at a pay rate of $104 per hour, up to 40 hours per week, and an overtime rate of $156 per hour for any hours worked beyond 40, for a total not to exceed contract price of $108,160, and authorize the village manager to execute said agreement subject to village attorney review.
Second.
Any comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Financial Operations and Auditing Preparation Services, change order number 1 and addendum A.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Healy.
I move to approve and authorize the executions of change order number 1 and addendum A to the current professional services contract dated May 17, 2024 with Middle America Government Consulting, Inc. for the hours worked related to the contract of $24,990 by $5,000 based on rates per hour outlined in Exhibit A dated May 17, 2024, for a new not-to-exceed cost of $29,990, and authorize the village manager to execute said agreement subject to village attorney review.
Second.
And just so everyone knows that these audit preparation services is for a consultant that we're using. As you recall, our finance director left in June, so we're shorthanded because the assistant finance director became the finance director. We didn't have an assistant finance director for a while. We've also had some other changes there. So we're keeping this person on next year to get us caught up on the audit because he's so familiar with everything. It makes sense to keep him there to get us there sooner. Any other comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
FY 2024 Budget Amendment Number 2.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Reardon.
move to approve a budget transfer from general fund contingency to operational expenses within the general fund of $166,821. A budget transfer from general fund contingency to the capital fund in an amount of $144,151. A budget transfer from general fund contingency funds to the insurance fund of $189,028. And a budget amendment for an expense increase to the insurance fund of $660,972.
Second.
And just so everybody knows, this is kind of the end of the year. We always have budget amendments at the end of the year to kind of clean up the books, but also the big one there with the insurance, it was a settlement for something that's been ongoing. It happened actually before before I was even here, and we finally settled it. So, so that's what that's all for. Any other comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Reardon.
Aye.
Trustee Healy.
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas.
Aye.
Trustee Malani.
Aye.
Trustee Compass.
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Non-scheduled citizens and visitors for public comment on items relevant to village business.
Is there anybody here to speak? Okay.
Board comments.
Board comments. And since everyone complains about Sean stealing their thunder, I'll start off with Mike Malani. Trustee Malani.
It's not complaining, it's constructive criticism.
Well, I hope you're ready now, because
Yep.
he's not stealing your thunder.
I left my notes at home, jeez, no. Well, this is our last meeting of the year, so we kicking off the holiday season. I wish to first wish everybody a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, or whatever holiday you choose to celebrate this time of year, because that's what we're here for, about independence and celebrating what you wish to. But we look back and we've had a pretty exciting year of all the things that we've done. We've, one, passed the budget, so thank you for everybody that worked diligently on getting that done on time and, as we've said, balanced. I think that's a great accomplishment, especially for a new team that's been put together fairly quickly. You know, we've just heard about a $600,000 grant, so we continue work on a park that we've been waiting for quite some time, and it's going to be fantastic when it's here. We received lots of money through development services to get projects underway. You know, Joel's looking for some snow to use those new plows and, you know, make sure those things are working well.
No, we want to save money on salt, so no, we're not looking for
Oh,
power.
we have a surplus of salt. We got tons of salt.
What was the name of it?
But most importantly, we came together, you know, and supported our village and, you know, supplied the necessities that our residents need. You know, I think our staff does a tremendous job with that, and I just want to thank you all for everything you've done this year. So thank you all, and enjoy your holidays.
Trustee Katsinas.
Thank you. First of all, I wanted to say thank you again to Century School students, Liam and Ivan. Was that correct, I hope? Okay, very good. Thank you. You made a lot of people's Christmas very happy in the gift that you're going to give them. So God bless you. That was really beautiful. And I too just wanted to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, particularly to our staff who makes our job so much easier. Every one of the members, the department heads and the people behind them, all of them have their season where they're really super busy and you never know it. They always give 110%, and we are very fortunate to have you represent our departments. And that's everybody from the chief to engineering, Steve, Ray. Thank you so very much for what you do. And I wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Trustee Radiszewski.
Liam and Ivan, I too want to say thank you again for what you're doing. It's very, very thoughtful of you. And to the parents, thank you for raising such great kids. I know you guys are going to continue to do wonderful things. I also want to say thank you to all of the Village of Orland Park staff, directors. I mean, you guys just do such a wonderful job all year long. And I can't thank you enough for all that you do. I want to also say thank you to all of the sponsors that were recognized earlier this evening. Without them and their contributions, our programs would be great, but they, you know, their contributions make them a little bit better. So we're definitely very appreciative. And I would be completely tone deaf if I didn't mention something about the children in Madison, Wisconsin, and that shooting that happened. And I want to just, you know, stop and just say, you know, prayers to the victims, the families, and, you know, thank the first responders that were there. So, you know, definitely say a prayer. So Christmas isn't going to be as wonderful for, you know, the people there. So definitely, you know, this holiday season, you know, really just be truly grateful for what you have and, you know, hug your families a little bit tighter. So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, enjoy the new year, and I'll see you all in 2025. Thank you.
Trustee Healy.
Mr. Mayor, I have so much to say tonight, but I'll try and be brief. But
Yeah, the Bears are on.
yeah, I know, it's right.
It's probably over already.
I first wanted to acknowledge, given the military history and all that stuff, but it was 80 years ago this December was the Battle of the Bulge. And 19,000 Americans killed, 47,000 wounded, 23,000 missing. It's 89,000 families that received a notice or, you know, harm to their families. And what a time for sacrifice by the whole country. At that time, the country had a collective grit and a sense of national pride and commitment. And I think that that's returning here once we see kids like Yvonne and Liam, you know, with that, they're inspirational and that too. And it's also good to see the veterans get their another acknowledgement for their assisting Orland Park. But again, it's good to see these young kids with I'm easily inspired, and that's they've really done it. So thank you very much, guys.
Trustee Reardon.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to, you know, continue to pile on Ivan And Liam, you've done your grandfather proud. His legacy, that's a great story that you thought about that and you put it into action. And then you got a little civics lesson. You stayed. I appreciate that you stayed. A lot of people come here, they do something, we talk about it, and then they leave, and we don't get a chance to address it. So I'm glad that you stayed, and so you should be super proud of yourself. I got children at Century. I got to talk to them, get them to try to.
Yeah, they got to raise some money for.
Exactly. Try to keep up with you guys. That's fantastic. So. Again, congratulations, and you're like you said, I think someone said it, you're making some people's dreams come true to be able to do what you're allowing them to do now that they wouldn't be able to do otherwise. Same thing with the sponsors. It's over $270,000. It's just a great community involvement. Large, small donations, doesn't matter. That's great. Attended the safety forum a couple of weeks ago, and during this Christmas time, these last couple of weeks here, be safe out there. They gave us some great ideas on how to stay safe. Make sure when you're going shopping, going to restaurants, stay in lit areas. Don't be looking at your phone as you're walking around to your car. Keep aware of your surroundings, things like that. So everyone have a safe and happy holiday. Sean.
So you guys stole all his thunder, so he doesn't have anything to say, right? Trustee Compass.
Oh, you know me better than that. So,
I was
yeah,
hoping.
just as Trustee Reardon said, Liam, Ivan, great job. And really all of you, all of the young people that stayed throughout this meeting. I know this is not the most exciting way to spend a Monday, but I would say that, once we adjourn this meeting, you have some picture opportunities. You can come back here, take some pictures behind here with the podium, take advantage of staying the whole time. So thank you for all that you've done in your service. As we gather during this season of hope and love and renewal, I want to remind everyone of an opportunity to share the joy of the season. The last day to drop off donations for Toys for Tots is December 20th, with pickup locations at the Village Hall, Police Department, Sportsplex, and Health and Fitness Center. It's a wonderful chance to brighten the lives of children in need and reflect the spirit of giving that defines this time of year. It's also in that same spirit of generosity and compassion that I reflect on a recent challenge we faced as a community. Anonymous calls and online posts spreading hateful words and falsehoods have resorted to personal attacks, aiming to harm for the sake of harm. And truly, it saddens me to think of the pain that must reside in the hearts of those behind these actions. But tonight, I choose not to dwell on that negativity. Instead, I offer a prayer of hope for them and for all of us. I want to take a moment to acknowledge those who have been unfairly targeted, including Diane, Frank, and Joe. Your strength, dedication, and positive contributions to our community do not go unnoticed. You represent the best of Orland Park, and I know that this community stands with you. As we celebrate Christmas and the holiday season, let us carry this hope in our hearts that even those consumed by bitterness and hate may find a path back to kindness, and that we as a community can lead the way by showing grace, unity, and strength in the face of adversity. May the season bring peace to every heart, healing to every wound, hope to every soul. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and may the new year be one of renewal, giving, and shared purpose for all of Orland Park. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for your comments tonight. So again, I'm going to pile on it as well. Again, thank you, Liam. Thank you, Ivan, for raising money. And thank you to the whole family for being here. And I know this is wonderful for you guys to sit through this for an hour. So, but like Trustee Kappa said, you'll have picture opportunities. You can take pictures with our officers, even our chief. You got our chief over here. You can take pictures with him. So, again, fantastic job of raising money for Honor Flight Chicago. I do encourage you, when you find out what flights this is that you go to that and maybe go when they come home. I will promise you it's a very long day. Come home and take a nap, because it's like a 5 o'clock in the morning flight out and they get back after midnight. So, but you get to stay up late. So that's the good news. But I highly encourage you to do that. So, sponsors, of course, as mentioned, $250,000 or over that. I think 275 or something like that. It really, Taste of Orland, concert series, whatever, you take your pick. Without that, those things become harder to do. So thank you so much. And it's not that all that money was for those things, but it's just, those are the big things that raising money for all the little things we're able to do because of that. Thanks to everyone for the hard work on the budget. I know we sent you back to do some more work on it. And I know next year's not going to be easy either because of what we know is coming down the pipe. But again, thank you to the board for lowering the property tax levy. And I know people say, well, 2%, 3% last year, but nobody else is lowering their levies. And I realize that we do have other alternative sources that other places don't, but they also make the choice, as they've mentioned, to not take advantage of those other sources. We all know property taxes are a problem. We're trying to do what we can, even though we're only a little over 5% of your property taxes. We're trying to do what we can, encourage others to do the same. I fight regularly with the state and the governor's office trying to get rid of unfunded mandates, not just for us, but the unfunded mandates for the schools and the other places that impact them. Because as I say many times when I go down there, if you guys don't fully fund the schools and you provide unfunded mandates, you don't leave them a whole lot of options because they don't have a whole lot of other revenue sources. So we do make that fight as well. But enjoy the holiday season. It's a beautiful time of the year here, weather notwithstanding. It's a great time in Orland Park. You can go see the Christmas lights. They're fantastic. The mall is beautiful. Go out, shop Orland. I encourage that. And I hope everyone has a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn for the last meeting of the year.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Trustee Rashewski?
Aye.
Mayor Pika?
Aye.